Boo! Happy Halloween, everybody! Welcome to my Ninja Turtles channel. Did you enjoy that spooky prank at the beginning of the show? It's noon on a Saturday and we are celebrating Happy Halloween with the Ninja Turtles. How are you? I can't keep that up. That's too tough to do a whole show as some sort of vampire. How's it going, everybody? We've got Pickle, we've got Gen X, Big and Soft Rafty. How's it going, everybody? Happy Halloween. We're starting off strong with the gigs and the bits today. We're gonna go over Halloween stuff. 2012 Halloween, the 2012 show, 2003 show Halloween, and a comic as well. We're going over the awesome NECA figures, the Universal Monsters figures. We're gonna review a Halloween scene from the 2016 movie. Before we get started, just wanted to let you know, follow, like, subscribe, follow along. A lot of cool videos on the channel, live streams. And we're gonna have a fun Halloween celebrating the Ninja Turtles today. Let's type a T in the chat. Everyone type a T in the chat. T for Turtles. T for Trick or Treat. We're gonna get started. The last show was great. This is part 2 of a 2-part Halloween special. We went over the early stuff on the last show, and this show we're doing a review as well. So what did we go over on the last show? 1987, some early comic book stuff. In this show we're gonna bring it all the way to the present. So type a T in the chat. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're eating a lot of Halloween candy like me. I'm hopped up on Pixie Sticks. I'm hopped up on Snickers bars and Paydays. So let's get started. First, wanted to mention all my old costumes. Went through a lot of old costumes before.
I wore a helmet. I tried on a helmet at a certain point. This is a cool costume. Also tried on this helmet too, Darth Vader. Happy Halloween!
And we tried on this top hat. Good morning, happy Halloween to the hero turtles is what we call them over here.
And I tried on this Casey mask too. Class is in session, Pain 101.
Okay, frankly, I think this costume was the best, okay? This costume definitely the best. Everyone says it's the best. Everyone loves this chump costume. Everyone says bring it back.
Okay, enough with this nonsense with these costumes. Everyone having a happy Halloween, a silly Halloween. This is good stuff. Okay. So thanks for tuning in. It's time to get started. Enough with this nonsense. We're gonna kick things off. We're gonna kick things off quickly with our special celebrity guest. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve-O, can you believe it? He's back.
Yeah, dude, happy Halloween. Had such a good time on your show last time, bro. Wanted to come back. I forgot to mention a few stunts I'm thinking about doing.
Oh, you're coming up with a few new stunts. Ninja Turtle stunts, I would assume? You're such a big Ninja Turtles fan. You said you like the Ninja Turtles because they skateboarded and you did too.
Yeah, I'm working on a new stunt called the Rat King. I get in a coffin with 100 rats and they throw me down a flight of stairs. Yeah, dude, yeah.
Wow, that is a bizarre stunt, Steve-O. But you like Halloween, you like the Ninja Turtles. Thanks for joining us on the show again. Any other new stunts you're working on that are Ninja Turtles related?
Yeah, I'm working on a stunt called the Purple Dragon, bro. Put a rubber band around my balls, and I have a snapping turtle bite my nipple, and then I hit myself in the privates with nunchucks until they turn purple, bro. Yeah, dude!
You are sick, Steve-O. I liked you in the Jackass movies, but these stunts are a little bit unhinged. It seems like you're out of control. You've got this crazy new Ninja Turtles attitude.
Yeah, I'm working on a stunt called Cowabunga, where I stick my whole head up a cow's rectum. Oh my god, it's disgusting, bro!
Okay, Steve, this is a family show. You're getting a little sick here, so we're going to ask you to leave, but thank you again for joining us, Steve-O. Take care, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye. Wow, what a zany show this has become. What am I doing here? What am I even doing here? First thing I wanted to mention, we had a great show last time. We reviewed a bunch of early stuff from the Ninja Turtles, a bunch of early Halloween-related stuff, the Universal Monsters toys. As you can see here, these toys are beautiful. These toys were really awesome. This was a cool variant. And these toys are really, They're a work of art. Even the card back art is great. You can see the Wolfman. It's a hairy turtle. We reviewed all this on part one of the Halloween special. Leo, creature from the Black Lagoon. Invisible Mikey. So this was all in part one of the Halloween Turtle special. We reviewed this short story, Don't Judge a Book, Black and White, where the turtles go to a Halloween party as themselves, and that's kind of a through line. That's kind of a connecting theme through all these Ninja Turtles projects. Halloween's an important day to the Turtles because it's the one day a year where they can go out as themselves without a costume. So there's a few Ninja Turtle stories throughout time, and it's really a neat theme that they can go out in public, they can go to a Halloween party dressed as themselves, and it's the one day a year where they get to fit in. It's the one day a year where they get to go out in public. It's the one day a year where they get to be themselves, and I just think that's a neat theme. It's Halloween, but they kind of get to let loose. They get to go to parties, people think they're dressed up, and they just get to dance and relax a little bit and have a little fun. One night a year. We reviewed a little comic book story from the Ninja Turtles magazine starring Bebop and Rocksteady, drawn by Jim Lawson. Cool story from the Ninja Turtles magazine. So this was all the stuff we reviewed on the previous show, but this show we're going to the present from about 2003 on. And I thought the most well-realized, the most fully realized Ninja Turtles Halloween mashup came from the 2012, the CGI Nickelodeon show, the 2012 show. They had a whole 4-arc segment called Monsters and Mutants, and there were toys that came out with it. And it was really the most fully realized Halloween and Ninja Turtles mashup. It was a lot of horror in the 2012 show. All of season 3 takes place in the woods, and it's a lot of horror references. They have cool characters. They have cool allusions to popular horror movies. They even had the voice of Freddy on the show, Robert Englund. And they had a bunch of other allusions to horror movies. And Ciro Nieli, the executive producer of the show, loves horror. So it's great to see this 4-part arc in the 2012 show. You can see it's Halloween. The Turtles are getting ready for Halloween. They're carving jack-o'-lanterns. They're getting costumes ready. They're doing all the same kind of stuff we're doing. And they dress up. Casey kind of dresses up as himself. And April, you can see on the right, does anyone recognize who April is dressed up as? She's got the mohawk and the army jacket. Looks like April's dressed up as Travis Bickle from Taxi Driver. It's a spooky costume. It's a really kind of dark, spooky movie. Great movie, one of my favorite movies. So it's funny to see April dressed up as the Taxi Driver, Travis Bickle character. She's going for a dark, spooky Halloween. And of course we see Savanti Romero. A lot of villains in the show, a lot of monsters. Savanti Romero was introduced in issue 8 with Renette, the time sorceress, way back in the original issue 8 of the original Mirage comics. And the Turtles dress up as monster hunters. They wear these cool, like Van Helsing, early 1900s style uniforms. Or clothing, it's not really a uniform. But they dress up as these kind of tough-looking monster hunters. They look awesome, like this Van Helsing kind of look. And it's a 4-part series. It's 4 full episodes of the show. So it's not just a one-off. It's a 4-part arc where a bunch of monsters are released and the Turtles have to fight them. And Savanti Romero's pretty much the main bad guy. He's got the horns, kind of looks devilish. And he brings back Frankenstein, this really sad-looking Frankenstein character. It's really a dark part of the show. This guy's sad and just pathetic. He's beat up and it's a real gruesome version of Frankenstein. I don't know if the body horror thing or whatever people are into that. It's real spooky looking Frankenstein, and he kind of reminds me of the way Venus de Milo looks in the comics, how he's sewn together. He's got a bunch of stitches just like she does holding him together, and it's a real spooky, sad look. I don't know. This version of Frankenstein was just sad. He was being manipulated by the doctor, and is just a real kind of pathetic, sad character. And there was also this mummy character as well, another spooky character. And this mummy was really scary. It's they didn't tiptoe. They didn't beat around the bush at all. They didn't try and hold back any punches. It was the 5th season. It was the Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They were kind of doing a victory lap. They had already had 4 successful seasons. The show had been on for like 5 years, so they weren't holding anything back. These episodes were scary, and they were creepy, as Pickle says in the chat. And also, they had a Dracula episode. A Dracula character was on the show. It was real scary. And it was a frightening Dracula. Dracula turned a bunch of other people into vampires as well. He wasn't alone. He turned just regular people in New York City. It was scary to just see regular people turned into vampires because the turtles were faced with the tough dilemma of they can't, just kill these people. They're innocent civilians. They were turned into vampires, so they had to figure out a way to help them. And the innocent civilians weren't the only people who got turned into vampires. Casey was turned into a vampire. And even their friend April O'Neil was turned into a vampire. So it was scary. They can't just, stab April through the heart with a wooden stake. They can't just shoot April with a silver bullet. April O'Neil is the turtles' friend, so they had to figure out a way to save her. And even the turtles themselves were turned into vampires. So it was scary. It was a scary 4-part episode, and it was a long arc. It was a 4-episode arc. That's really cool to see. And as you guys saw earlier, even I was turned into a vampire. Even I was bitten by the vampire. Okay, enough with that. I can't keep that up. That's too tough. But it was a really great 4-part episode, 4-part arc in the 2012 show. They did it really well. Did a lot of cool horror stuff on this show. And they released it as a DVD set, as a movie pretty much. Clash of the Classics, The Mummy, Dracula, The Werewolf, and Frankenstein. And it's a really cool 4-part arc. They had a bunch of different types of themes and plots and motifs in the 5th season. They had a futuristic apocalyptic arc. They had the Usagi Yojimbo arc, the 3-part Usagi Yojimbo arc, and they had this 4-part Monsters and Mutants arc. And it was really cool to see the 4-part episode, the 4-part arc with the 4 episodes, and they also had toys. They had awesome toys that came out to support these 4 episodes. You could see Leo as the Mummy, Dracula Raph, Frankenstein Dawn, and Mikey the Werewolf. These toys were really cool, and they really reminded me of the original toys. You can see here they have the same 4 monsters. Mummy, Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, and you can see them again. Mummy, Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman. So it's cool to see a real obvious reference, a real obvious connection to the original toys. I like when they do this stuff. It's pretty much, they just go for a straightforward reference, a straightforward allusion to the old toys, and they do it well. They updated everything, and they look really cool. I really like the Leo Wolfman on the far right. I like the furry, the weird hairy Ninja Turtle. It looks bizarre. And the new figures are great too. They have cool accessories. You can see Michelangelo's nunchucks are made out of bones, and they all have cool accessories and weapons that are unique to their monster that they're portraying. So I love this Halloween stuff. Halloween is really important to the Turtles, and it's cool to see how this stuff lines up. You could see up close here, Vampire Raph, super cool. Which figure is your favorite? Do you like the Raph? Do you like the Mummy? Do you like Mikey the Werewolf? Or do you like the Monster Hunters? Do you like the 2 Van Helsing Monster Hunters? I think they look awesome. I love Raph's rounded hat. I think it looks awesome. I think Leo's costume looks cool too. He looks a little bit like Indiana Jones. TMNT Bros. They wants Vampire, Donnie, and Raph. Hunters look cool, says Gen X. Pickle says cool. Yeah, I think these figures are great. Monster Hunter Leo, and even the artwork on the packaging is awesome. In the upper right-hand corner, the turtles are drawn as their monster counterparts. And you can see the tails of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles branding instead of just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like the first 4 seasons. Some people didn't like the 5th season. Some people did. I thought it was really cool. I liked the unique stories that are kind of told out of continuity. Doesn't need to be a strict timeline. And Raph comes with the crossbow, almost looks like a Tommy gun. He almost looks like a mobster. So all in all, this line of figures was really cool. The 4 monsters and the 2 monster hunters. I thought this was an awesome, awesome, awesome piece of 2012 history, piece of Halloween history with Ninja Turtles. So you got the 4 episodes and the 6 toys, really cool. But that's not all. They also came out with a game. I think they came out with multiple Halloween games, but I'm going to talk about this one. Trick or Treat Tussle, a Ninja Turtles game. I don't remember if this was available on mobile or if this was available on their website, but you can see all the different turtles dressed up as different characters. You got Mikey as SpongeBob on the top, and Raphael as a princess on the far right. And April's dressed up as a Ninja Turtle. It looks like Leo's dressed up as one of his space heroes one of his, like, you know, the Star Trek ripoff Space Heroes characters. So it's pretty cool. It was a simple game. Splinter kind of taught you how to play. It was kind of like a Pokemon game or a like Final Fantasy, Zelda. I don't know if it's like an RPG. But it wasn't the flashiest game. Real simple graphics. Bunch of cool levels. They're around a graveyard here, and you kind of go around collecting the other characters and fighting little battles and collecting candy and that kind of stuff. So it's really great push by the 2012 show to have a bunch of Halloween-focused stuff. They had the 4 episodes. They had this game. They had the toys. They loved horror on the 2012 show, so it was really great to see the most fully realized, fully thought out connection, the most fully realized mashup between the Turtles and Halloween. I thought the 2012 show did it best. They had the comics before, they had the little Halloween party in the 1987 series, but this was the best. You get Mikey, SpongeBob, and I think Donatello, is he dressed up as Donatello, the actual scientist painter guy from the 1500s or whatever, 1600s? Is he dressed up as Donatello? I'm not sure. But Monsters and Mutants, very good portion of the 2012 show, and I just wanted to review it and give it a lot of credit because it was really awesome. Next thing I wanted to talk about comes from the 2003 show. The 2003 show really liked the Halloween stuff. They actually included they had like a kid's book, as you can see here, with the Halloween stuff. April is the Bride of Frankenstein, Casey is Frankenstein, and the Turtles are out on Halloween. That was something they could always do. Go out on Halloween, interact with the public. They don't have to dress up. They can be themselves one day a year. So the 2003 era had a bunch of stuff relating to Halloween. They go trick-or-treating in the comics at one point, as you can see here in the black and white comics. I think this was from Tales of the Turtles Volume 2. And they were no strangers to fighting zombies and fighting vampires in the comics and fighting all sorts of spooky stuff. Ghosts, supernatural, zombies, paranormal, all sorts of stuff. And if you look in the background, you can see a little character, a little statue. I'm not sure if any of you remember this statue, if any of you recognize this statue. This was from a comic in 2007, and it was a continuation of a comic that actually came out in 1987, Tales of the Turtles issue 3. You can see on the cover there's a multi-armed thing. There's a multi-armed, like a crazy monster, and it looks just like the little statue that's in the background here. So this story here from the 1987 comic book, the story here from the 1987 comic book is actually the basis for a Ninja Turtles episode from the 2003 show that takes place on Halloween. This episode from the 2003 show is based on that old comic book that came out in 1987. This episode takes place on Halloween. You can see the kids are trick-or-treating, the kids are walking around. This episode is called All Hallows Thieves. And you take a look at this monster because you're going to recognize it in a second. All Hallows Thieves is based on Tales of the TMNT, issue number 3. And you can see it's Halloween, even a kid. This little kid is dressed up as a Ninja Turtle. So it's a fun little episode. And here's that statue I mentioned. April O'Neil is at the second time around her antique store. And this creepy guy comes in to look at the statue. And he's a real creepy guy. He's an eerie guy. And he looks at the statue, but he doesn't buy it. And the turtles are busy cutting up Halloween pumpkins, getting ready for Halloween. And in one of the funniest Ninja Turtle moments, before we get to the funny moment, I just wanted to point out how the turtles are all carving their pumpkins. And you can see on the far right, Leonardo is training. They're all having fun. They're all having a night off, but Leonardo is too serious. Leonardo is focused. And this episode is in season 4. So season 4 is the arc where Leonardo is depressed, Leonardo is angry, and he's irritable. And it's a really cool character arc for Leonardo. So they're all having fun, taking a night off to an extent, but Leonardo is focused, he's disciplined, and he's training. And you could see Michelangelo, the way he carves his pumpkin, he's really freewheeling. He's very fluid. He kind of just spins the pumpkin and holds the knife steady. And he lets the pumpkin carve itself to an extent. He's very fluid. He's freewheeling. He's just having fun. Meanwhile, Donatello uses a welding thing. He uses like a laser to carve his pumpkin with precision. So they all have different styles to carve their pumpkin that reflect their personalities. And it's a real quick little scene here, but it really demonstrates their personalities and exemplifies their different personalities. So it's neat to see how Donatello uses a laser to carve his pumpkin. He's not messing around, he's serious. And Raphael just kind of stabs his pumpkin a bunch of times with his two sides. He just kind of is angry, and he just kind of flails a little bit. So it's really neat to see this quick representation of all the turtles. And April O'Neil shows up. The April O'Neil dressed up as a cat. Brrr, brrr, right? April O'Neil, Halloween. Of course, we learned from the movie Mean Girls, it's the one night a year where you can dress up as a skank and no one can say anything about it. Very funny moment here. Michelangelo puts a bandana around his pumpkin and Michelangelo says, look, it's a Leo lantern. Instead of a jack-o'-lantern, he says it's a Leo lantern. And I thought that was a really funny Halloween moment. And of course, they steal... later in the episode, these bad guys show up at April O'Neil's antique store to steal the statue that we pointed out earlier. There's like a wolf man, there's a witch, and there's a man with a pumpkin on his head. And it's really scary to see these three guys. So the turtles go to fight them, the turtles go to stop them, and Leo spazzes out. Leo is angry. He's in his depressed arc, he's on his angry season 4 arc, and Leo is ready to just kill these people. He pulls out his swords, and the other guys think Leo's just gonna chop this guy's head off. And he swipes at him. Leo kills the Wolfman. Leo tries to chop his head off. But he actually just takes a mask off. He doesn't actually cut his head off. Leo's angry, but he's not that angry. He just slices his mask off, not his whole head. So the other guys are really scared by that. Leonardo's really angry, and they think he's just about to kill this guy. So the other two guys, they escape with the statue. We learn that they are working with the creepy guy earlier. So they've stolen the statue. Maybe some sort of possessed statue. And the turtles go out on Halloween. They think they kind of stopped the crime. They don't know what to do. The statue is stolen. And they're enjoying themselves. It's nice to see the turtles just walking around on the street, having a good night, having a nice time out in public, hanging out. They don't have to hide. They don't have to wear their disguises. They don't have to wear the fedora and trench coat combo. They're just enjoying Halloween. Meanwhile, the creepy guy who stole the statue is having some sort of a demonic seance with a bunch of candles. He's wearing a robe. Some sort of sick guy doing some sort of freaky demonic thing with some sort of statue. I don't want to know what's going on, frankly. And he turns the statue alive with some sort of, demonic seance or something. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. He's doing some sort of demonic ritual, and the statue comes alive. He charges it up with electricity, and the statue lets all these demons out from the sky. There's all these scary demons that start flying out of the sky, and they pretty much take over the whole city. They start harassing kids. These Halloween demons, they're just running around harassing people, causing crimes, breaking into stores, stealing things, running amok. These scary, they kind of remind me of the winged monkeys from the Wizard of Oz. They remind me of the winged monkeys, the flying monkeys from Wizard of Oz. So they're causing chaos in the streets. It's a scary Halloween. You got some guy doing some demonic rituals. And this is where he takes the statue, and whatever demonic ritual, whatever demonic seance he's doing, turns the statue alive, and it grows into a huge shape. And you recognize the statue now? Does it look familiar to the cover of the 1987 Tales of the TMNT issue 3 comic book? So it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary that the statue comes to life. And this episode is pretty much a one-for-one telling of that Halloween story in the comic book back in the 80s. So the monster comes alive to fight the turtles. It's Halloween. It's really scary. And the monster's huge, too. So the turtles are fighting this supernatural, paranormal thing. This is a lot to... Suddenly the Shredder isn't so bad, is he? Suddenly the Shredder, Krang, Bebop, and Rocksteady, suddenly these guys, they seem almost friendly compared to this giant demonic four-armed, Halloween monster. Six-armed Halloween monster, but they kill him. They smash him. They chop his head off. And he starts fading. You can see he kind of just fades into sand and disappears in the wind. And the same thing happens to the demonic flying monkey demon things. They kind of just disappear. All the stuff they're looting, all the stuff they're stealing kind of goes away. It's funny, they bring these guys back from, they summon these demons from hell or whatever, this supernatural thing. They decide to steal a few TVs. That's their big plan. Commit a few petty crimes. I'm going to open up the chasms of hell. I'm going to call up some demons. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to steal a $200 TV. I don't get the point here. Maybe there's a bigger plan. Maybe the scary demon guy has a bigger plan. But yeah, they bring these people back. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go steal a Panasonic. So the cops come after all the monsters and the crime has been solved, and after all the actual threat is neutralized, the police show up. And does anybody recognize the police? Does anybody recognize the police from the 2003 show? They look like Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman, the co-creators of the Ninja Turtles, the original co-creators, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. The two cops in the 2003 show are little cameos, little references, allusions to Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, the creators. So Eastman and Laird show up, or the cops, Officer Eastman and Officer Laird, show up after the threat is neutralized. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool episode, pretty straightforward episode. It's great that references the original comic book. It's a great, the first 7 issues of Tales of the TMNT comic book are really good. The original Tales Volume 1, 7 issues. And Eastman and Laird stuff in there. It's early, it's in the 80s still. And this episode was great. I love seeing the turtles just walk around being themselves. I love seeing the turtles just hanging out, having a candied apple, a caramel apple, hanging out, having a good time. Turtles just being themselves. They don't have to hide. One night a year, the turtles get to be themselves. And it's a really sad predicament they're in. It's pathetic almost that they just want to go out in public. They just want to be regular teens, but they can't because they're freakish mutant turtles. So I love these Halloween episodes. It's a really special night for them. It's the one night a year where they get to go out in public and just be themselves and just live a normal life. They don't have to hide. And I feel bad for the turtles because even though they're heroes to an extent, they do good for the city. They stop crimes. They rescue people. They have goodwill missions, rescue missions. Even though they're good people and they do good stuff for the city, they're still viewed as monsters. They're still viewed as freaks. So they only get one night a year to walk around and just be themselves. It's really sad. It's kind of like how Batman has to keep his identity a secret. It's this burden that they have to keep their identities secret. So that's a Halloween episode from the 2003 show, and it's really great. It's really great that it references old Turtle stuff. I like when the new Turtle stuff references old Turtle stuff, but still puts its own spin on it. And speaking of new Turtle stuff that puts its spin on old Turtle stuff, has anyone seen the NECA Universal Monsters toys or the NECA Monsters toys? How great do these toys look? Now, I know these have been around for a long time. I know these are available. A lot of people have reviewed them. A lot of people have seen them. But not at a Halloween party. Not at a Halloween party like us. So I wanted to check these toys out. They're extra spooky today. They're extra scary. And these toys are great. They're wonderfully detailed. These toys are amazing. So you got Mikey here, Michelangelo as the mummy. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the face he's making, if they're referencing a certain face. I'm not sure if you've seen the Rotten Donatello mask that I did with the jump scare earlier. So I think they're kind of making a little reference to that face, the Rotten Donatello mask. Looks pretty similar if you ask me. Pretty scary, pretty spooky. And he looks really good as a mummy. It's amazing how detailed these costumes are. Each individual bandage has ripples and darkness, and these are professional photographs, but the toys look pretty good in person as well. And he's got the cool, like, Egyptian symbol nunchucks instead of just traditional regular nunchucks. And it's really neat to see how these toys are designed and all the care and thought and all the little details that went into them. And you've got Van Helsing Splinter here. He's kind of the Monster Hunter character. We went over the Monster Hunter 2012 figures earlier, and he's that version. He's got the wooden stakes, he has the crossbow, and he's ready to kill some monsters. He's got all these secret monster texts or whatever he's reading here. And he looks really cool. Splinter looks awesome. It's a weird figure to see Splinter standing upright as a human, but it's pretty cool. So he's not really dressed up as a monster. He's kind of just dressed up as a monster hunter. He's dressed up as a human. And he's got his funny little skinny rat legs. He's got his little toothpick pool cue legs. And it's a great figure. It's dark, it's scary, it's spooky. Bride of Frankenstein April. Our April, the lovely April O'Neil. And this is actually based on the 1990 actress, Judith Hoag, the actress who actually played April O'Neil in the 1990 movie. This isn't just a generic April toy. It's actually based off her specific face, her specific likeness. And it looks great. It really looks like the 1990 movie April O'Neil. And this figure is really detailed as well. She's stitched together. She's got all the spooky Frankenstein stuff, Bride of Frankenstein stuff. And these figures are just so detailed and so interesting and just so well made. The old figures are cool, but these figures, they're really collectibles for adults. These aren't just mass-produced toys for kids to play with. But they're beautiful, like little statues. They're beautiful works of art. The color is amazing. The shading, the grit, all the details. And continues. Raph is Frankenstein. Even the detail put into their accessories. He doesn't just have traditional accessories. They're like little lightning bolts, little Frankenstein lightning bolts. And they make his face weathered. They give him extra wrinkles. They make his teeth, his mouth wrinkled around his teeth. And they pose well. They have a lot of points of articulation. You can move the wrists, the fingers. There's interchangeable hands, interchangeable faces. And I think it's just so interesting how much they can do with just a toy, with just an action figure. They can do so much with it. And as you can see here, he's a Frankenstein. He's cobbled together from a bunch of different things, including a sewer lid. So even his shell is made from sewer lid. So it's pretty cool to see how well these toys are done. It's pretty amazing. Oh, we've got the Kid Core. Hey, read the chat, dude. Sorry, I'm rambling here. I'm rambling about all these figures. Let me say what's up to the chat. Let me say what's up to everyone in the chat real fast. Hey, type a T if you're in the chat. Type a T for everyone in the chat. T for turtles. T for thank you for joining me. Let's type T's in the chat if you're here and you're watching this show. Who do we have in here? Big and Soft Rafty, Pickle, Gen X, Jackson, TMNT Bros. Who else do we have here? TMNT Fan 47, what's going on? The Kid Core. Got a lot of people hanging out. And new guy, Garrig Rosakis, how are you? How are you? These figures are great, I agree. Thank you for joining. So moving on, Frankenstein Raph, real spooky, real scary figures. And they keep going on. They have more and more and more. Leo as Igor, as the Hunchback. Hunchback of Notre Dame, or is he Igor? I don't know which one he is. But he looks spooky. He looks great. Turtles kind of already have that hunchback shape with their shell, so really makes sense as a figure to be a hunchback. And he's got the cool rope, burlap sack, time-accurate clothing, and they all come with cool accessories. They all come with scary accessories, a lot of details. It's really, really cool. Maybe he comes with this little brain. I don't know if this is included or if this is just part of their set, but it's scary if he comes with a brain. But these figures are great. I just can't believe how detailed they are. And of course we have Invisible Man, Donatello, kind of a mad scientist, kind of the Invisible Man kind of look. I don't know if he's a unique character, if they're specifically modern after a specific, trademarked Invisible Man. Oh, I said it wrong. Rosakis? Said the last name wrong. Well, got you the shout out. We'll get it right next time. The brain, definitely Igor then. Thank you, Gen X. And he has different heads and different hands here. You can see he has the clear feet and the clear hands, the cool clear plastic. And he has a bunch of different faces, and he can wear the goggles on or off. And he even has this one type of head where it looks like hair is sticking through the bandages. So it even looks like he has this weird ragged hair sticking out of his bandages. So these figures are just really well done. If the 2012 show 4-episode arc is the most fully realized TV show version of Halloween and the Turtles, I think these toys are the most fully realized version of Halloween and the Turtles. The old original toys are good, but they're a little bit cartoony, they're a little bit goofy. They're definitely for kids, but these are seriously scary figures. These are scary figures, and I think that really ups the Halloween edge. It's cool to have Halloween stuff, but it's cool to have the Halloween stuff that's actually scary. When it makes it just goofy, it's not as scary. It kind of takes the edge off. I want Halloween to be scary. And these figures look great in person. Of course, they look great in the professional photographs we've just been reviewing. They look great, but when you see them just sitting on the shelf, I think this picture was taken at some sort of comic book convention. I don't remember who took it, but they kind of just snapped a photo with their phone or whatever. And the turtles look good just sitting there. They don't need a professional photographer. Donnie's invisible feet look scary, Splinter looks cool, and they're just posed regularly. It's interesting to see how they actually look on an actual shelf, not in some sort of some sort of detailed set, like they look in a dungeon. This is how they'll look on your set. And if you look on the far right, do you see the far right, a new character that we haven't gone over yet? Does anybody recognize that character? It's a guy with a mask who hangs out with the turtles. It's Casey Jones as Phantom of the Opera. And he looks really scary. It's a really bizarre kind of mashup. It makes sense, of course. Phantom of the Opera wears a mask. The Phantom wears a mask. Casey wears a mask. He's got the nice little bow tie. And he looks scary. It's a cool idea for a Casey Jones figure. And it's cool that this line just keeps expanding. They have a ton of figures in this line. And Casey Jones here, professionally photographed. You see, he does look gruesome. He looks brutal, he looks creepy, he looks scary. He has the dark, deep set black circles around his eyes. He still has the Casey Jones accessories like the hockey stick and the hockey gloves. But at the same time, he's in a creepy dungeon. He's like a scary, paranormal Phantom of the Opera. So these NECA toys are the best horror toys that are Ninja Turtles related. These are the best Ninja Turtle toys that are Halloween related. And as horror toys, they're just really good as Halloween toys. And they're good as Ninja Turtle toys as well. NECA's doing great stuff. They charge a little bit higher price. They're a more premium toy. They're a collectible instead of a mass-produced kid's toy. Like I said, they're little works of art. They're little statues. And they really mean something to people. Horror people like these toys. Ninja Turtles people like these toys. So I just wanted to review these. I feel they're better than the 2012 versions of the Monsters and Mutants toys, and I feel they're even better than the original Universal Monsters toys from the 1990s line, the old school toys. I feel these toys are better than the old school ones. There's a certain like nostalgia or cool factor that these are the toys that did it first, but there's a cartoony edge to them that just kind of wasn't exciting. So I feel the newer toys are much more exciting, and they're really great. Just wanted to give them a shout out on Happy Halloween. Let's give him a Boo Yakasha shout out. How about that? Boo Yakasha. We don't just say boo, we say Boo Yakasha. So that's appropriate for Halloween, a little Boo Yakasha. And of course, anything could happen here on a spooky Boo Yakasha Happy Halloween with the Turtles. Anything could happen. Bebop and Rocksteady could come flying by on a broom like they're witches. Anything could happen. We could even get Steve-O back on the phone. I'll do it. I'm not scared to do it. I'll get Steve-O back on the phone, and I'll subject you to listen to that again. Or we could try and get another celebrity guest on the phone. If you want another celebrity guest, maybe type T in the chat. If you want another celebrity guest, type T, and maybe we'll see if we can conduct a seance to summon another Ninja Turtles guest. Type T if you'd like another celebrity guest. If you think we can summon a seance. Maybe we can summon someone from the dead. That's Halloween, a spooky Ninja Turtles guest. Press T if you'd like a new celebrity guest. Or we can keep moving on. So we've got a few things left to cover on this Boo Yakasha Halloween. Few more things we can cover. So, one thing I'd like to cover, probably the nicest thing, comes from the 2016 movie. Oh, but we're getting a couple T's in the chat. Maybe we're going to try and have a seance. I need people to type a T in the chat. Let's type T in the chat for Turtles, T for Trick or Treat, and we will conduct a seance. We'll see if we can bring someone back here. We'll see if we can summon someone. I'll type a T in the chat too. Okay, I think we're gonna summon someone. I feel it happening. I can feel it happening. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Gilbert Gottfried, the wonderful comedian, Gilbert Gottfried. You may know him from Problem Child. You may know him as the voice of Krang Subprime from the 2012 show, but we are honored to be joined by the Gilbert Gottfried.
Thank you for having me. I can't believe I've been dead for 6 months and now I'm doing this crummy Ninja Turtles podcast.
Yes, thank you for joining me, like I said. I'm happy to have you here, Gilbert Gottfried. And like I said, you played Krang Subprime on the 2012 show?
Yes, I played Krang Subprime. He looked like an alien wad of chewed up gum. But I think he looked like a pink alien puffy nutsack.
Wow, Gilbert, you have a crazy attitude. You're a wild comedian. And we're happy to have you here on the show. We're happy you played Krang Subprime. We loved you on the show. And we're happy that you are joining us.
Ah, yes. I played Krang Subprime, and now I'm on your crummy show. How is your voice more annoying than mine? You're the only person on the planet who has a more annoying voice than me.
Well, okay. Thank you for the strange compliment, Gilbert. We'll take it as a compliment. But I'm happy you joined me. And I'm happy you came all the way from heaven to join my Ninja Turtles channel as a special celebrity guest.
Who said I'm in heaven? I feel like I'm in hell being on your stupid show. I've been dead for 6 months, and you're dragging me to do an interview. My agent makes me do these crummy interviews.
Yeah, you may need to fire your agent if he has you doing these crummy interviews, as you say. You may want to fire your agent.
Oh, he takes 10%. He drags me around doing these crummy interviews. I'm starting to think Kanye West is right about all these Hollywood agents.
Wow, Gilbert, you're as shocking as ever. You are always an edgy comedian. You always said what you wanted to. You are a risk taker. I just wanted to say you were one of my favorite comedians. I loved what you did on roasts. I loved you on the Howard Stern shows, on the Howard Stern show episodes. So I love what you're doing. And I just wanted to say thank you for joining me, of course. And of course, happy Halloween to you, Gilbert. What are you going to be dressing up as today?
Frankly, I don't need to dress up as all. I don't need to dress up at all. I've been rotting for 6 months, so I'm just gonna go as a zombie, and people will be scared of my face. Frankly, they were scared of my face even when I was alive.
Oh, Gilbert, you're crazy, Gilbert Gottfried. So, just wanted to say thanks again for joining me. Happy Halloween, Gilbert, and we will talk to you later, okay? Let's type a T in the chat for Gilbert Gottfried. T in the chat, everyone. T for Gilbert. Thank you, Gilbert, for all you did for the Ninja Turtles. You're a great voice on the 2012 show's Krang Subprime, and you were a great guest on the show today. So thank you, Gilbert Gottfried. T's in the chat for Gilbert Gottfried. Wow, our second celebrity guest. Can you believe it? Can you believe we did a seance live on the show and we summoned the Gilbert Gottfried? How amazing is that? What an amazing show. What an amazing group of viewers we have here that have the power to summon Gilbert Gottfried, the Gilbert Gottfried. Steve-O has nothing on Gilbert Gottfried. What an amazingly refined show we have here. Very high production value. Nothing silly going on this show. Nothing zany going on these Halloween episodes at all. So the next thing I wanted to mention comes from the 2016 show. 2016 movie, rather. Pardon me. 2016 movie. I'm just so excited from talking to Gilbert Gottfried. Can you believe it? Can't even focus. I was just so excited talking to that amazing celebrity. Live from heaven, live from hell, who knows? But the next thing I wanted to mention, Halloween related, it's really one of the sweetest moments in Ninja Turtles history ever, and it's a Halloween moment too. And it comes from the 2016 movie with Michelangelo. They're in the sewer, and they're looking out the sewer, and they always have to hide in the sewer. They always have to hide, but it's Halloween. So one night a year they can be themselves. So they're looking out of the sewer and they see a Halloween parade. And Michelangelo dreams of going out in public. He just wants to be a regular guy. He just wants to hang out. He just wants to be he wants to be a regular teenager in the 2016 movie and all the other versions of Ninja Turtles. He's got a real big heart. And it's so cool to see Michelangelo as the heart of the Turtles. He's they used to play him as like the dummy. He was just comic relief. He was kind of a surfer attitude, but they really play him as the heart of the Ninja Turtles, and I really like that. And I love the way the hopeful look he has in his eyes. He has a hopeful look when he's looking up out of the sewer at the Halloween parade, and he realizes that this is just the one time a year where he can go out in public and he can be himself, and he can do whatever he wants. He can just be a turtle for once. He can just be himself. So he has this real hopeful look, and I love the way they lit up his eyes when he's looking out. Originally they're dark, but they light up his eyes, and he has nice eyes in this movie. The computer animation is really nice. He has like nice human eyes, and they're very expressive, they're very emotional, and I think it's very dramatic the way they do this. They used to do this in old horror movies. Speaking of horror movies, they would light up Dracula's eyes like this. And they would do it to a dramatic effect where it would make Dracula look a little bit scarier, look a little spookier, kind of a supernatural look. And it would really highlight his expressions on his face and highlight his eyes. So I like the way they did that in the 2016 movie on Michelangelo's eyes, except instead of a scary way, they did it in like a nice, hopeful, dramatic, positive way. So Michelangelo, he's brave. It's Halloween. He decides to take a risk. He pops up out of the sewer and joins the Halloween parade. Michelangelo is brave. He's got a lot of heart. He's a sensitive turtle. He's a sensitive guy. And he just joins the Halloween parade. He figures maybe they'll think I'm wearing a costume, and he knows this is his one chance a year to just be to be like a human. And it's a really sweet scene. It's a really kind of sad scene as well. So he's loving it. He's just looking around at everything, soaking it up, and you can just see the expressions on his face. He's just so happy to be out in public, and so happy to be looking around, and so happy to just be part of the Halloween parade. And he's barely out of the sewer for like a minute in the Halloween parade in the 2016 movie. And he meets a guy dressed up as like a transforming car. And he makes a friend. So he's not even out of the sewer for like 1 minute in this Halloween parade scene. And Michelangelo's just so friendly. Mikey's so nice, and he has just such a good personality. People can sense that. He gets a high five. They, cool costume. Oh, you've got an awesome costume. And he makes a friend. So it's really cool to see this. On Halloween, Michelangelo can just be himself. He pops out of the sewer. And the Halloween parade is going by. He rips the microphone out of this guy's hand and he screams into the microphone. And, how you doing? Make some noise. And people are loving it. People are cheering. He's like the leader of the parade for a second. He's the guest of honor. Everyone cheers. He has a moment with the crowd. He connects with the crowd. And I thought this scene was really meaningful. It was a really good scene that illustrates how they just want to be regular teens. They just want to be part of society. And he gets that real hopeful look on his face, and his eyes are shining. They're glowing a little bit. And it's just a really nice scene. Even though it's a Halloween scene, it's not as spooky. It's not as scary as other Halloween stuff. There's no ghosts in this scene. There's no goofy Halloween stuff. Just Michelangelo having a little moment on Halloween. So that's a real, that's a boo Yakasha moment, if you ask me, for this Halloween show. This second part of our Halloween show. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy your happy Halloween, your Ninja Turtles Halloween. Have fun out there dressing up. We had fun dressing up on the show. I wore 20 different costumes. We had 2 celebrity guests. We had a whole bunch of stuff going on the show. And it's pretty exciting. It's a pretty cool Halloween experience with the Ninja Turtles. So it's a 2-part episode. We went all the way through Ninja Turtles history. And let me see what everyone was saying in the chat before we wrap up here. And make sure to tune in. Saturdays and Tuesdays, I do a live stream on each day. Ninja Turtle show on Tuesday evenings, and then we focus on one topic on Saturdays. So big shout out to everyone for joining me. Thank you again. Pickle, Big and Soft Rafty, Kid Core, Garrick. Who else do we have? Everyone in the chat. Thank you again, guys, for joining me. Gen X, I appreciate it. I do read the chat, Kid Core, just occasionally. I can't read it all the time. But I glance at it and I read it. So thank you again for joining me. Make sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. If this was a fun show, let's type some T's in the chat. One final T in the chat. T for trick or treat. T for turtles. T for thank you for all of you for joining me, of course. Make sure to like and subscribe and tune in. And who knows what we'll do next show. It's not going to be Halloween anymore. Maybe we're going to have a new set. Maybe we're going to have a whole new look. Maybe we're going to have nothing. Maybe we all just do the show like this with just a blank background, blank set. It'll just be all nothing. We'll just be in deep space. But we'll find out. So tune in on Tuesday. Thank you again. Like and subscribe. Happy Halloween. I hope this was fun. I know it was silly. I know it was stupid. But wanted to try something new. So Pickle in the chat says, wonder what's going to happen during Christmas. Who knows? I might have a special guest. We might have Steve-O or Gilbert Godfrey dress up as Santa Claus. How about that? That might be terrible. Hey, Robert Kelly. Big shout out to Robert Kelly in the chat. Robert is the leader of the Radical Replay gang. Robert's a great viewer, leaves great comments. So just wanted to say thanks again to everybody for joining me. Happy Halloween, and enough rambling from me. I guess there's just one thing left to say, right? Well, I guess there's a couple things left to say. Let me put on my vampire face here for... I guess there's just a couple things left to say. A couple things on this happy Halloween. Only a few more things to say. Cowabunga! Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment and share this video. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more Ninja Turtles videos like this.